frame of comparison. So the operant we're training, the skill we're trying to teach here is how to compare things. It might not be the first triangle that you do for more or less. You might have some other ones that you're working on. But if I'm training my clients how to determine if something is more or less than something else, and then I do that final step with the C and B, they should have the strategy, because the strategy is comparing the two things and deriving the response based on that learning history. Yes, if I just train 2 is less than 5 and 2 is less than 10, if I'm just training those two things, and that's literally all I'm saying to my clients, then the combinatorial entailment between 5 and 10 would not happen. However, if I'm focusing on teaching them how to make a comparison and showing them the strategies like I talked about earlier, whether it's a number line or like looking at the actual amount of items, then we would have, they should be able to, that combinatorial entailment, the learning history is there from what I trained them. But it depends on what I'm actually training them in the context of the more or less. Graphic like this, it helps plan things out a bit. At the same time, though, you have to still have the teaching and the lesson that you're going through in the process. There's the practitioner, and the things I understand could be an issue for some of my clients. So let's say we've already done something like the elephant and the mouse, and maybe we've even already done the coins, and we are following the true like organization of the triangle that you would see. But I really want to understand, how well is my client learning how to compare things? If I did something like this with that, again, that actual training incorporates really getting them to dive in deep on, are you looking at how these things actually compare to one another? And then I want to see what happens. Can you combinatorially entail this? Is it typically what we would see in the triangle based on the publication and research that's out there? No, but it's a unique way of testing for when we train them to make the comparison of 2 and 5 and 2 and 10, and we don't really cover what to do when they're, these things, we haven't really looked at these before. Will they engage in that level of problem solving and go in the comparison? I've taught you a strategy, say it's the number line, find the number 2, find the number 5. Okay, so 2's over here, it's less, 5 over here, it's more. And so we're more looking at how well are they deriving a response based on the strategy I'm teaching them, and fully understanding how to engage in that comparison to determine more or less. Combinatorially entail based on the strategy that we're training them how to look. And that's a big test, because I'm only trained them to look and see less than, right? Like if I do 2 to 5 and 2 to 10, now can they make a really big leap and put the 5 and see that the 5 used to be more and now it's less? Can they, from like a flexibility and a big jump in derived responding, recombine what we've done with that strategy? Again, this is definitely more advanced.